Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is a rumored upcoming action role-playing video game that would be developed by Monolithsoft and published by Nintendo. The last numbered entry in the series, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, was released back in 2017, and since then, fans have wondered where the studio is going next, and if we will see the continuation of the Xenoblade Chronicles world and story. Let's break down Monolith's comments about the future, job listings, and the composer's next big project. As always, all the sources will be linked in the description below, so make sure to check those out and support those original writers. And with all that out of the way, let's get into everything we know about Xenoblade Chronicles 3. The first mention of Xenoblade Chronicles 3 was back in May of 2018. The team released a few different versions of the official soundtrack for Xenoblade Chronicles 2. The standard edition of the soundtrack, though, included all of the music along with a 12-page booklet. And inside the booklet, the director, Kojima, discussed the future of the Xenoblade series. He said he wants to make Xenoblade Chronicles 3, Xenoblade Chronicles X2, and a new game under a new IP. And this didn't confirm anything except for the studio still heading in the direction of Xenoblade, and they aren't ready to steer completely away from the IP yet. And if this is any indication, it seems like these are some of the projects we can expect from them in the future. And this was all the way back in 2018. The next mention of the game was in June of 2020. The Spanish media outlet Vandal was able to interview the creator of Xenoblade, Tetsuya Takahashi, and he discussed the plan Monolith has after the release of Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. He says, quote, "I would like to do a smaller scale project if the opportunity presents itself. But right now, I think we should focus on increasing the value of the brand that we have created with the Xenoblade Chronicles saga." The rest of the article discusses the definitive edition, but this statement alone continues what the team had discussed up to this point, that yes, they are looking at maybe a new IP and a smaller IP, but for now, the Xenoblade Chronicles brand is just worth so much that it would be dumb for them not to continue it. So it sounds like they want to continue working on this game and this IP. They're publicly acknowledging how popular their games are, and with how popular the Nintendo Switch is currently, it makes sense to get as many people playing these massive RPGs on the Nintendo Switch as possible with Xenoblade Chronicles 3. So a lot of that makes sense if they're trying to further their brand and make the games they want to. The next aspect of the game I want to discuss are the new hires at Monolithsoft. They have quite a few branches of their company, and different teams are working on different projects. Currently, they have a team assisting on the development of the next Zelda game, which is directly listed in the job posting saying they are looking for people to work on Zelda. They have another team that they were ramping up for, which is a secret action medieval looking game that the team has been hiring for since 2017. But from what I understand, this project hasn't had any real update since the job postings, and we don't even know if it's confirmed to be this medieval project or where it's at in development, because the only thing we really have are these job listings, and some of the job listings included a few different pieces of concept art. So we aren't sure if this is really representative of the project or what's happening with this project, but this is something else they were working on in 2017 that could have been that smaller IP they were discussing that's a completely new game for them. But based on where these job listings were posted for this medieval project, it's understood that this project is being worked on by a different internal team than the number one production development team. The number one production development team, if you don't know, is the team that works on the Xenoblade series for the most part. So those are the hires we're really going to narrow in on. We're not going to talk about this medieval game, and we're not going to talk about the Zelda listings. So most of the hires happened in March of 2019. Monolith released new hires for an unannounced RPG project, but the project specifically, as I said, is for Takahashi's number one production development team, which is the team at Monolith that has developed Xenoblade Chronicles, Chronicles X, and Chronicles 2. So it would make sense that whatever they're hiring for is probably continuing in that direction and could for sure be the next iteration of the Xenoblade series. This doesn't guarantee that what the team is working on is Xenoblade Chronicles 3, But along with the comments that the team is wanting to keep working on the series and the IP, and specifically said that they want to make Xenoblade Chronicles 3, it makes sense that this really could be what we're looking at here, along with the team's other projects as well. Now, it is important to note that because these hires were in March of 2019, the game has been in development for a little bit, so it's possible we could see it relatively soon if that is the case. Now, this was backed up further with the last story I want to cover, and that actually gained a lot of traction in March of 2020 when a Reddit user found the composer of Xenoblade Chronicles 2 posted on their website that they were working on a large-scale recording in April. Fans are currently split on what this means. First, it's important to state that it's not guaranteed that he is working with Monolith for this project. For all we know, it could be anything, a movie or a personal project. So that's not even confirmed that he is working with the game studio. And even if he is working with Monolith, it's not guaranteed that this project is Xenoblade Chronicles 3. The community, as I said, is split on this. Some people think it could be related to potentially Monolith's new IP, while others think it will be a continuation of the Xenoblade series, especially as we said he worked on Xenoblade Chronicles 2. So if they liked his music, they could just want to continue it by hiring him again, especially with a large-scale recording. Now, the last possibility I want to mention is that Nintendo and Monolith could be creating this game for the upgraded Nintendo Switch Pro. There are no rumors or leaks to prove this, but it's a relatively popular idea in the community that to create the true next-generation version of the Xenoblade series, the team would want to utilize more power from an upgraded console. Rumors currently point to the release of a new Nintendo Switch Pro sometime in late 2021 or early 2022, which, if true, could mean a new Xenoblade game around that same time as well, if you subscribe to the idea that these two releases are connected. I'm split on this, but it's definitely not out of the realm of possibility. Xenoblade has been used to sell these upgraded consoles in the past. The first Xenoblade they used to push the new Nintendo 3DS because it didn't have enough power on the old one. So they have a history of doing that, so it wouldn't be even completely out of the question for Nintendo and Monolith. And the timeline could make sense too if the composer is finishing some of the music in April. So a lot of it does line up, and it wouldn't be that surprising if we did see a Xenoblade teaser or something like that at one of the next Nintendo Directs, and maybe start to tease out this project for a new console launch. Either way, that is everything we know about Xenoblade Chronicles 3. It seems likely that the team is working on a project in the Xenoblade series, and hopefully the team doesn't have to keep whatever they're working on a secret for too much longer. That's where I'm going to end this video. Make sure to like and share, subscribe for weekly gaming news, and I will see you guys in the next one.